And here we are with part 21. A reminder, I don't keep track of all the videos I make. I just make sure I'm on the right track. And we have entered the title. That's right. We're in part 2 of The Last Inquisitor. And guess what? We're about to do the title. The title in which this whole Let's Play has been based on, and now it has finally showed up. So, let's save. And let's go.
Professor? But what are you doing?
What am I doing, Mr. Wright?
Yeah, you were supposed to show up with some decisive evidence and save the day, Professor.
I'm afraid my only concern here is the truth.
The truth?
The truth behind the real identity of the Great Witch, Espella Cantabella. If seeking the truth requires us to stand on opposite sides of the courtroom, then so be it. I expect you to defend Miss Cantabella with everything you've got, Mr. Wright.
Court is now back in session. Are you prepared, High Inquisitor?
So long as I remain on the witness stand, I am no longer High Inquisitor. Simply Darklaw will suffice.
And she is still the meaning of death. Miss Darklaw, I'd just like to confirm something. Are you still the meaning of death? A moment ago, we established that you were, in fact, present at the bell tower during the time of the incident. That makes a total of 3 people at the scene.
It would appear that was the case.
However, you managed to stay hidden from 10 different guards. With the help of this right here. The robe of invisibility. In other words, there's every reason to be suspicious of your actions tonight. Lady Darklaw, and I cannot believe you would deceive us in such a way. I ask that you tell the court what happened at the time of the incident.
Very well.
What happened tonight?
The town square was to be the parade's final stop. I patrolled the perimeter to ensure nothing was amiss. As I passed by the bell tower, a pair of small footprints leading inside caught my eye. I went inside to investigate. I had my own reasons for not allowing any of those vigilantes to see me. I climbed the stairs up the bell tower and saw an intruder inside with their back turned. I proceeded to apprehend him.
You apprehended the intruder.
While I hold the position of High Inquisitor, there are often times when I must partake in various secret tasks, unbeknownst to the citizens of Labyrinthia. One of those tasks being ensuring the security of the storyteller.
Security?
As such, there's nothing odd or suspicious about my actions tonight.
I see. Defender, you may now begin your interrogation. And what were those reasons? They relate to protecting the storyteller, something I was to carry out at that particular time. Did it perhaps have something to do with what was already decided upon in the story? The storyteller's words absolute. Therefore, any and all those who make an attempt to alter his will must be dealt with immediately. Excuse me?
Hang on!
Excuse me, Miss Kira? Witness!
Yes!
Figures. She really doesn't remember her own name. You seem to be deep in thought about something. Did you remember anything regarding the High Inquisitor's testimony?
No, I'm sorry. Nothing in particular. It's just, I'm a little disappointed in myself.
Disappointed?
I traveled all the way here to Labyrinthia in order to fulfill my mission, but all I managed to do was fail and ended up being captured.
Regardless of your own fate, Miss Kira, the storyteller did die, as was foretold, did he not?
Tonight, as the rain came pouring down over the town, I arrived at my designated location. Naturally, the bell tower surrounded by guards on patrol. 10 to be exact. I was very nervous.
She must be talking about the vigilantes.
Just relax, you'll be fine, so as long as you're wearing this robe. I kept telling myself. Little did I know I was wrong. And none of this would have happened if I was just a little bit more careful.
Enough. I would be thinking more about atoning for your past crimes and less about what could have been if I were you. Is there anything wrong with Kira's testimony? Something odd. Hold on one second. About your testimony, Miss Kira. You were thinking to yourself that so long as you had your robe on, you would be fine.
Yes, that's right. I was...
So basically, you were wearing the robe the whole time you were on the top floor of the bell tower. Is that right?
Yes, I had it on the entire time. That is until I was attacked. And then my robe was ripped off by the wind.
Miss Kira, this is the first time we've heard any mention of this information.
Is that so? I think it must have just forgotten.
Your Honor, perhaps we should update this piece of evidence in the court records? Roger. Update! Invisibility robe worn by Kira when she was attacked. Visible only to Eldritch Wood's residents. Lady Darkcloud, please continue your testimony.
Objection!
So the person you saw when you entered the bell tower was actually Miss Kira. The only problem with that is that it would have been impossible. What are you talking about, Defender? Miss Kira, or should I say the witness, stated that while she was waiting on the upper floor of the tower, she was wearing her invisibility robe. Therefore, there's no way Miss Darklaw would have been able to see the witness. Oh, you're quite right. Anyone wearing this robe becomes invisible. right, but there is just one particular group that can see anyone dressed in this robe.
And who was that exactly?
Only residents of the Eldritch Woods are able to see the robe. If you're from Eldritch Woods, then you'll have absolutely no problem seeing this thing.
Objection.
So, what you're saying, Mr. Wright, is that Miss Darklaw here actually hails from Eldritch Woods. Is that correct? And that she knew this girl prior to tonight. That's right, Professor. What is this? A most impressive display, Mr. Wright. However, there is only one detail that you have overlooked. Something I overlooked? You say Miss Darklaw saw something she should not have been able to see. However, the truth is that there is one other possibility as to what occurred tonight. Did he just say what I think he said? It's very easy to work out. Quite simply, the witness was not wearing the robe in the first place.
What are you talking about, Inquisitor?
This witness has proven her memory of the night's events to be quite undeniable. I believe that by the time she climbed the bell tower, she had in fact already removed her robe. Tis as you say, Inquisitor. As you can see, Defender, your assertion is mere speculation at best. Your little witness here has been lying to the court the entire time. Simple as that.
Objection!
1 second. The witness was quite clear with her testimony. Isn't that right, Miss Kira?
I'm not sure.
What?
I mean, my memory is a little fuzzy.
No way!
It would appear there is nothing more to be gained from this line of questioning.
Your Honor, I suggest we return to the cross-examination.
Fine idea, Inquisitor. Well then, Lady Doctor, will you please continue with your testimony?
As you wish. No matter how you slice it, Kira looks like she's definitely hiding something.
If only there was some way of getting her to talk on it. No matter what Kira says, Darklaw just stays cool and brushes it off.
Yeah, this isn't going to be easy, that's for sure. That's why. We really need to set our sights on Darklaw. If we keep doing that, then sooner or later, Kira's bound to speak up and say something.
Well, Nick, that's your most dastardly, devious plan yet.
Alright, there's still clues. And I'm gonna find it. I should go back and double check her previous testimony. be some more contradictions. Looks like that's all we're getting out of it for now.
You know, if Darkfall was just going into the bell tower to arrest some intruder, then I wonder why she didn't just come out and say that to begin with.
So, that information was on a strictly need-to-know basis.
Need to know basis, huh?
That sort of secrecy is pretty common, but usually they got to have reason for not disclosing the information to begin with. Darkclaw was hiding this information for a reason. That's why we need to find out exactly what she was doing. I've got to get her to tell us.
Hey Nick, is it me or do you feel like we're being watched?
Yeah, tell me about it.
I wonder what's up with the professor. Something must have happened. There's no way he'd turn on us like this.
The professor has been very quiet so far. But surely he must have noticed there's something that doesn't add up with Darklaw's testimony. Anyway, there's bound to be something in this testimony that we can use. We just have to make sure we comb this thing from top to bottom for any contradictions.
That's right.
Hold it!
Those must have been Miss Kira's footsteps from when she snuck into the bell tower, right?
Indeed, the ground outside was quite muddy after the rain, so her footprints were easily visible.
Right. According to the vigilante's testimony, they thought the footprints looked like Foxy's, but they turned out they weren't hers.
That's right. Her footprints would have contained a mark where her stiletto had been. But the footprints I saw at the bell tower contained no heel mark at all.
And you stepped inside those footprints on your way up the stairs so as not to leave your own and risk being detected.
Exactly. At that time, my main task was to ensure the safety of the town square. In doing so, it was of the utmost importance that no one knew of my presence there.
Now the townspeople knows your presence there, it would undoubtedly raise some suspicion.
Indeed. So naturally, that is why I did not wish to be noticed by the vigilantes. Therefore, it was imperative that I mask any traces of my being there, even if it meant utilizing another's footprints.
I see. Clever tactical work of the High Inquisitor. Is there anything off about her testimony just now? Oh, there's some very... Miss Darklaw, you no longer have the meaning of death. I just noticed something in your testimony that's very relevant to this case. The defense requests you amend your testimony.
You just can't help letting that ridiculous imagination of yours run wild, can you?
The Inquisition has no objections. Very well, the witness will amend her testimony.
There was no heel on the footprints, so as I ascended the stairs, I was careful to match my footsteps to them as far as possible.
Objection!
What I have here is a sketch of the footprints left at the bell tower. So tell me, Miss Darklaw, are these your footprints in this sketch?
It would appear so. I would never meant to offend the hard work of Labyrinthia's vigilantes, but tonight's task was mine and mine alone.
Okay. When you put it that way, I can't help but notice a contradiction.
What did you say?
Miss Darklaw, you stated the following. When you climbed the stairs, the footprints had no heel, so you tried to match your footsteps to them as far as possible. However, if you look at the actual footprints that were left behind, you can clearly see that not only is the heel present, but so is the entire foot. If you were trying so hard to step on the footprints already there, then the footprints in this sketch shouldn't have heel marks. That's very true, although I don't think such a small detail is of much importance in the long run. I agree. It is a small detail, Your Honor. But that's not all I noticed. There was something very telling about Miss Darklaw's testimony. She stated that she stepped on to the footprints that were already at the scene in order to disguise her presence. Now, there's something strange there. Specifically, why were these footprints left at the crime scene in the first place?
Objection!
Mr. Wright. Yes, Professor? Tell me, can you show the court why this seemingly minor detail is altered? I can't exactly do that at the moment. Who can say whether or not these footprints are indeed worthy of concern? And if it is an issue, then what are exactly the implications? That, above all, is what you must answer, Mr. Wright. I do not believe that you can assert that this is a blatant contradiction at this time. Ugh! There he goes again, flexing that amazing brain of his.
That's enough.
Miss Kira?
Lady Darklaw, how could you? How could you simply abandon us? How could you betray us?
Okay. The witness, what is the meaning of this?
Lady Darklaw, you are the mistress of the Eldritch Woods. You are the one responsible for handing us our task.
What?
This wretched girl is nothing more than a detestable spawn of magic. Her words cannot be taken seriously. People of Labyrinthia, I ask you, what am I, if not a loyal daughter of this fair town?
No! You're lying, Lady Darklaw! When I was waiting up there at the top of the bell tower, I was most certainly wearing that robe.
Hmm?
Lady Darklaw, you are Miss Mary. You were also wearing a similar robe, were you not? Don't you remember?
What nonsense. I haven't a clue about what you're babbling about. I simply managed to sneak right by those makeshift guards. 'Twas not the most demanding task for someone like me.
Yes, you're right. That would be true. If you've been sneaking around by yourself.
By yourself? Goodness, explains.
Enough. Listen to me, and listen well. Continue as you are, and I will see to it that this court will be the last place in which you ever set foot.
It matters not. The end is already known. After the events of today, I shouldn't even be here right now.
I echo that sentiment about my life. Miss Kira, you're saying that Miss Darkmoor was not by herself at the time of the incident tonight.
That is right. Lady Darkclaw was wearing the invisibility robe, and underneath that robe was a young girl passed out on her back.
What? A girl? Could that be?
Yes. 'Twas the very same girl imprisoned in that cage up there.
You mean... Espera Cantabella? Order! Order! So the accused was carried up the bell tower.
My lord, there's nothing left for me to say. 'Tis the word of the High Inquisitor versus that of a leech. Tell me, who would you sooner believe?
We shall believe the report of the Lord.
Objection.
Miss Darkclaw, you of all people should be aware that this isn't a matter of belief or not. I'm afraid those words are that carry no meaning. The only thing that carries any meaning here within the courtroom is evidence. Don't you agree, Mr. Wright? Yes, absolutely, Professor. Well, now, things are beginning to heat up a little, are they not? Now, tell me, Defender, have you the means to prove this assertion? Do you actually think you can prove that I, the High Inquisitor of Labyrinthia, carried the accused into the bell tower?
From the looks of it, Miss Kira was supposed to keep quiet about Darklaw's secret. But she couldn't deal with all of Darklaw's denials and finally found the guts to chime in.
I can't let Kira's effort go to waste. I don't care what stands in my way. I'm going to find the truth. Your Honor, the defense wishes to present evidence proving that Miss Darkclaw did, in fact, carry my client up the tower.
Very well, Defender. You may present your evidence. Shows the evidence that proves Lady Darkclaw carried the accused up the bell tower. Looking dead at him. It's right here. Footprints.
Take that!
There was something in your testimony just now that I'm not buying. And that's the footprints that were left at the bell tower. Did I not just finish admitting that those were not my footprints? Miss Darkclaw, you stated the following. There was no heel on the footprints, so as I ascended the stairs, I was careful to match my footsteps to them as far as possible. However, the reality is, the footprints pictured in the sketch actually do contain a heel. That means something must have prevented you from being able to tiptoe along the footprints that were already there.
Ah, you mean...
That's right, Your Honor. Miss Darkclaw, when you climbed up the bell tower tonight, you must have been carrying Miss Cantabella on your back. Is that correct? If you remember, it rained quite heavily tonight. That means the stairs must have been quite slippery. With your two hands occupied carrying my client, there would be no safe way for you to tiptoe up the stairs without falling. That right there is the truth behind the footprints on the staircase.
Lady Dokro, you...
Fine. I admit it. Tis as you say, I donned them and made my way to town. But I was not alone. I carried both Cantabella and her little friend up the tower with me. Little friend? That black-furred creature of hers, that thing is nary ever a second from her side.
Oh, she must be neat.
When I arrived at the top of the tower, I saw this girl already there and called out to her. I was very shocked.
I was very shocked to see the mistress show up in person like that.
The girl's presence was an inconvenience, so I immediately put her to sleep. Believe it or not, it's just like you said, Defender. I used what remained of Beldude's medicine to put the girl out of the picture. And that's when Miss Kira put up a fight and pulled this pendant right off her neck, correct? That's right.
I cannot fathom it. That would mean this pendant actually belongs to you, Lady Dokro? Darklaw's pendant. Ripped off Darklaw's neck when she was attacked by Kira.
I just have one question, Miss Darklaw. Why? Why take a spell up the bell tower? Why render her unconscious? And why go through the trouble of sneaking past the guards? What exactly was your aim in all of this? I am in no way obliged to answer that question, Defender. What? What makes you say that? Simple. None of this has any relevance to the case at hand, that is why.
Objection!
Miss Darklaw, you rendered a witness unconscious and locked her up at the top of the bell tower. I'd say that's more than a little relevant.
Objection!
Your Honor, if I may, the Inquisition believes the defense's question to be irrelevant to the current case. Professor, what are you saying? It would seem the defense has forgotten a very important point. Namely, the point of this, Mr. Wright. Huh? The aim of this trial is to find the identity of the Great Witch Basil. Whether or not Miss Darklaw locked the witness at the top of the bell tower is hardly relevant to the purpose of this trial. But there is one thing that is very clear. Neither Miss Darklaw nor this witness could possibly be Bezella. What? If either one of the two were Bezella, then there would be no need for them to have used this robe of invisibility. They cannot use any magic, therefore it is inconceivable that either of them could be the Great Witch.
Rather straightforward argument. There,
At the time of the incident, there were 3 people present. Of those 3, 2 used the robe of invisibility to vanish from sight, leaving only one person, Miss Cantabella. With this in mind, the logical question is, who is Bezella? Is that not obvious? The accused suspect Cantabella is the only possible answer. Besides, the accused's voice was heard by all the townspeople chanting the spell Grand Run.
Objection!
Not so fast! I happen to think these witnesses are extremely relevant to this trial. Did you forget about Miss Kira? She supposedly took a one-way trip into that pit of fire over there. And yet here she is in one piece testifying that she returned in order to kill the ruler of Labyrinthia, the storyteller.
Then there's Miss Darklaw, who rendered the defendant unconscious and proceeded to transport her up the bell tower. I'd say there's more than enough reason to investigate who these two really are. Only to discover that they are not in fact the Great Witch Bezella. I'm not saying there's a possibility that these two are somehow related to Bezella. The court will now announce its thoughts on the matter. I must say what Inquisitor Layton has stated certainly does ring true. However, Lady Doker, I have one question I must ask you. What exactly were you hoping to accomplish here tonight?
'Twas not my intent to deceive the good citizens of Labyrinth. However, I must now reveal the truth to you.
What'd she say?
You don't think Lady Doctor is indeed with the witches, do you?
She can't be. She was the one that sold to that other witch. Which is demolished.
Lady Doker, are you saying that?
That's right, my lord. I am ashamed.
Ashamed. Lady Doker, will you please tell the court exactly what you mean when you say shame?
Yes, of course. Icroway is standing behind his bench. I will tell you all I can.
How is she trying to pull? Why testify about something that could potentially undermine your credibility?
Shades live outside the realm of those who dwell within Labyrinthia. To them I am known as the Great Witch. Those that are put to the flames in the witch trials become shades, who live their lives in the woods.
We exist to carry out tasks given to us by our mistress, the Great Witch herself. I am not a witch, nor am I a wandering spirit.
What on earth? High Inquisitor Darklaw? No longer the meaning of death? Do you mean to say that you are not only a witch, but that you're the Great Witch? Unbelievable, that ass.
Lady Darklaw's the Great Witch. The Great Witch.
Doesn't that mean she's Bezella?
That's right, Lady Darklaw's Bezella.
I do hope you have not forgotten what we established only moments ago. It is not possible for Miss Darklaw to be Bezella. But Inquisitor Layton, surely the testimony just now proves it.
I am afraid that, in the heat of such revelations, you have all misheard the information. 'Tis pointless. This is the extent of what the people of this town will believe.
I believe the truth will become clear during our cross-examination. Don't you agree, Mr. Wright? Defender, you may begin your interrogation.
Hold it!
Great Witch. Yes, that's right. However, I am not Bezella. The mistress to those who dwell in the Eldritch Woods is dubbed the Great Witch. Even if I wanted to be Bezella, I couldn't. As the ever so charming Inquisitor stated earlier, I cannot use magic.
Miss Darklaw, I have one question. What do you mean by live outside the realm?
I mean just that, Inquisitor. We truly do live in a realm separate from this tower. Now, surely one as intelligent as yourself has worked out the answer by now. Perhaps that remains to be seen, Mr. Wright. Regardless, 'tis something we cannot discuss with anyone. But it is something that the defense should be able to prove.
It almost sounds like a challenge. By the way, Miss Darklaw, since you're not actually a witch, why do you continue to be called that?
To answer that, I must first discuss the true identity of the Shades.
Hold it!
So you're saying that the Kira right here and now is a shade version of the Kira from before?
Indeed, Defender. The girl has no recollection of her life prior to living in those.
What? None of which is this? Why?
This girl, Akira, the flower seller, was cast straight to the flames before.
This girl, Kira, the flower seller, was cast straight to the flames before our very eyes. That's right, Your Honor. But as you can see, she didn't die. You see, there's actually a trick to the incineration device in the witch's court. A trick. Once the verdict has been delivered, the court attendants move the steel cage into position, after which it seals shut. Then the cage is dropped down into a pit of fire. The bottom of the cage then opens, allowing the witch inside to escape unharmed into an underground passage. If what you're saying is true, Defender, then what of the town's witch purging history? What has been the purpose of all this?
You and the knights have indeed been bitten, labyrinth of witches. However, not a single life has been taken in the process. That is the reality.
But you cannot truly expect me to believe such a ridiculous notion.
Your Honor, it's true! Take a good hard look! It doesn't get any more lie than this!
Ah, it's you!
I am
May! I am A? She was MIA, of course.
Well, it's actually my thing. You know, forgiveness.
But she really was MIA the entire time. Because even if you were following the Let's Play, she too was a victim of this because she was dropped into the pit of fire. But if you realize there's no burns. I mean, think about it. If you're dropped in a pit of, if you're dropped in something in which is like supposedly burned through, it's like, okay, either one of two things gonna happen. You're gonna get burn marks, or you'll be nothing but ashes. We have not seen that from Kira nor Maya. So it really was prestidigitation. Now you see me, now you don't. you doing? Everyone's gonna recognize you.
Yeah, but she's believing Nick. Now they have to believe you.
Do you see? Are you satisfied? All those found guilty in the witch trials lose their names, magic, and memory. They are then sent to spend their lives as shades in the Eldritch Woods. And the mistress of those shades is the Great Witch. As you can see, this girl too has become a shade.
I've no more words to express my utter disbelief of this situation.
That's enough. Shall we return to the testimony?
Well, I do have a feeling things are going to get a lot worse.
Hold it!
These tasks you mentioned, were you acting on them this evening?
Yes, I was told to come here and become Bezella.
Wait just a moment. Did you just say become Bezella?
My, how absolutely dreadful.
Why would anyone be given such a terrible task?
Where have these shades come from?
Order! Order!
I'm sorry, I don't know why I was given such a task. All I can do is follow the orders I am given. If I can do that, then I can return.
What do you mean you can return?
Such is the nature of the shades. Neither human nor witch. Theirs is an existence spent in the shadows. Each of the shades is given specific tasks. Then, upon successfully completing such tasks, they are allowed to return to Labyrinthia as brand new people.
But Lady Doclaw, how can they return as brand new citizens? When we already know who they were. For instance, we all recognize the former flower setter standing before us.
Now that, my lord, remains a secret, but a secret you will come to understand sooner rather than later.
Simply
The one who gives us our task is the Great Witch. That would be you, Lady Clarklaw. Oh, Magnificent One.
While this explanation is fraught with much I cannot comprehend, I request the witnesses add it to their testimony.
Okay. Lady Darklaw was our venerable mistress. She assigned us our tasks. She was the Great Witch.
Hold it!
So about these tasks, can you give us any other examples?
A shade's task must never be discussed with others, no matter what.
She says that even though she just finished telling us all about her secret task.
Incidentally, do you perhaps remember when you arrived back in town to carry out your orders?
No, not really. My memory is still a little fuzzy. Say, didn't Kira only just recently become one of those shade things? Still, I failed in my task tonight.
Come to think of it, when Luke and I had our little run-in with Kira, I remember being blown clear across the marketplace. But I never saw any explosives or gunpowder.
Maybe Kira was given the task of blowing you to smithereens, Nick.
And we're done. Getting back to the testimony. I'm sure there's something here that just doesn't have it. You really don't have any recollection of your old flower-selling self, do you?
No. When a witch becomes a shade, they lose all memory of their past life.
Think of it like cutting a lock of your hair off. If you remember in Japanese folklore, or if not Japanese folklore, but you would see it in, say, another game. Or in this case, let's pull Wild Arms. Pull Wild Arms, right? The character Cecilia cuts off her hair, signifying the death of her old life. And with her having short hair means, it's you start your life anew. It's the same thing with, say, me. I used to have a lot of hair, right? But as time went on, I lost most of my hair. I couldn't grow all of it back. So, basically, I, for the most part, shaved my head. That's to signify my old life is gone and my new life is what I'm doing. Symbolism, y'all. Symbolism.
They lose their memories,
But why?
and yet you still have some grasp of the concept of magic, do you not, Chris? Let me spell it out for you. Magic does not exist in the Eldritch Woods. Oh, but there are actually lots of things back in the forest that I have not seen in this time.
There are things there you haven't seen here.
Like really huge machines, that sort of thing. There's one that spits out fire with such amazing speed and it spells this huge plume of gray smoke.
A machine that spits fire. Never have I heard such a thing. Are you certain that these machines of which you speak are not simply magic?
No, now that you mention it, I don't think anyone from this town can actually see those of us from the forest.
They can't see you? Could it be something like John Cena? I mean, that rope. How can such a thing even be possible without magic?
Objection!
Mr. Clark, if I may interrupt for just a moment.
What is it, Inquisitor Layton?
Through your testimony just now, we have all come to understand the process of how one becomes a shade. However, I was hoping you could perhaps elaborate on one additional point. Namely, what exactly is the purpose behind the shades?
If you wish to know our purpose, there are certain other things you must first understand. Once you've done that, the answer should be quite clear. Isn't that right, Defender?
The purpose behind the shades?
Rest assured you will not get the answer from me. As the saying goes, the witch is in your court, Defender.
Sounds like Dark Claw's challenging me to figure this out. Challenge accepted. So, you mean to tell me that one true purpose is this?
Objection!
Something that doesn't exist. I have a feeling that no one's going to like the answer I'm about to give, and it will probably end up shaking this town to its core. But I've got to tell them, the truth has to come out. Since I arrived here in Labyrinthia, there's been no stories of really strange events. Ignites, Dimir, Goldor, and now Dragon Slayer and Grand One! The mere command of magic itself is a crime, isn't it? In this town, witches are arrested and made to participate in witch trials. They are then sentenced to death by fire. But none of those witches actually died. That supposed death by fire wasn't real. And neither is magic. It doesn't really exist. Well, what are you saying, Defender? The Eldritch Woods apparently contain some rather large machines, unlike anything that exists within Labyrinthia. Machines that emit fire and produce large plumes of smoke. To top it all off, the citizens of Labyrinthia are not able to see said machines. It sounds like nothing more than magic. Yes, that's exactly it, Your Honor. Miss Darkwell. Magic doesn't really exist in this town. That's the answer, isn't it? Magic does not... What utter nonsense! We fucked with you all. Seems we have finally arrived at the stunning conclusion. The secret behind Labyrinthia. We fucked you all. What?! Order, I say! What's the meaning of this? It means that all of the magic you've seen in this town was nothing more than illusion created and put into motion by the shades. But Defender, the witches, we've clearly seen them use magic. Let us take a moment to think carefully about the systems employed by the shades. System? What is essential in order for a witch to use magic? The witch must possess a Talea Magica and must say an incantation in order to cast a spell. And the spells able to cast are determined by the Scepter's magic gems. Now, what do you think is the purpose of placing such requirements on the use of magic? What do you mean, purpose? These requirements are not there to allow the user to cast magic. Rather, the reality is that they are there to inform the shades of who should be using magic. It is possible that witches were always being closely observed by shades. That's why they donned these robes, to appear hidden until they were needed to create magic. Create. Indeed. There are all kinds of spells within this tome. It would be quite troublesome if they were simply allowed to use any spell at will. Yeah, it would make the Shade's job that much more difficult for sure. Precisely so. That is why it was imperative that a certain restriction be placed on use of magic. Ah, you're referring to the Talea Magica, right, Professor? Of course. No wonder the center could only contain 2 magic gems. Then there's the incantation. What would happen if
if a witch could simply whisper the incantation quietly to herself, or not even say it at all.
Boy, that'd be so cool. I'd be casting spells all day long and no one ever see it coming.
Maya, we spent an entire trial proving that you weren't a witch, remember? If the witch didn't give some sort of signal, then there would be no way for the shades to know when to cast the spell. Right you are, Mr. Wright. The incantations were a way of telling the shades when the witch was ready to use magic. What on earth? Never did I think these requirements could have such a purpose. It's like a whistle. If you were in the woods and you were finding something and you were with a group, you would need something high-pitched that would alert your presence to said group. Like a whistle, or even more so, a flare gun. Now, let's think back to the previous events leading up to today that have involved magic. Our first encounter with magic was the use of the spell Ignite a few nights ago. A spell like this was nothing more than a flame spewed from a machine being used by the shades. Then that means the mere spell that makes the caster disappear? No doubt about it. It must have been this room. Next to see its liquid gold door. The spell that transmuted me into a gold statue. While I understand this may sound a bit upsetting, I can only surmise that the shades created a gold statue in my image, took me and left in my place the instant the incantation was uttered. Professors, no more absurd than anything else that happened so far. We can therefore conclude that all of the magic in Labyrinthia was created in a similar vein. What do you say to that, Miss Darklaw? I'd expect nothing less from you, Inquisitor Layton. At any given time, there were between 5 and 10 witches in town. All of the witches were accompanied by shades at all times. It was easier than you would think, you see. The shades living in the Eldritch Woods, totaling hundreds. It was simply a matter of time, each having the shades operating shifts, in order to watch over each of the witches within the town. I must say, that's quite a number of shades. It was not only those who fell victim to the flames that were turned into shades, but their victims too were made permanent residents of the Eldritch Woods.
Then those two shady thieves from before were turned into shades.
Ah, yes, you mean Robs and Monks. Despite their dubious appearance, those two were a couple of my best shades. Shady thieves turned into shades. Stuff writes itself. I cannot believe what I have heard. However, there is still one thing I do not understand just yet. And what would that be? As has just been explained, we have established that there is no possibility of magic being real. But replacing me with a gold statue to give the illusion of transmutation, for example, while it sounds simple enough, I myself, and presumably also Miss Fay, have no recollection of this replacement actually taking place.
Hey, that's right. The professor got all bling-blingy before I could even bat an eye.
It begs the question, how and when was that statue created, let alone used to replace me? That is true. The same goes for Door. It's supposed to create a portal between two green-colored walls. Perhaps that is exactly why the spell can only work on green walls, Mr. Wright. Still, it'd be impossible for the Shades to get those portals ready so quickly. I agree. If we take a moment to think, we can see that all of these spells have one strange thing in common. A thing in common. Yes, indeed. Almost as if some time between the start and end of this incident was unaccounted for. Furthermore, any memory I might have had regarding the incident seems to have simply disappeared in the process.
I've got it. Nick. It's just like what happened to Kira. She's got absolutely no memory of her life in Labyrinthia before the trial, right? Yes, I do not remember. There's Kira. You speak up. And, oh yeah, when you really think about it, does it seem super weird how the Shades are able to return to town if they complete their task?
You're right, Maya. I mean, the townsfolk are bound to remember some things about them, right? Like how Miss Kira here threw a major hissy fit in court and was barbecued for being a witch? Eloquently put, Mr. Wright. Hence, we cannot yet conclude that this entire illusion was primarily accomplished through the use of machinery. Simply put, there must have been some way of affecting the memories of all those within the confines of this town.
Missing time and lost memories. Now that is interesting, Inquisitor. You are correct. There is, in fact, a secret that lies within the depths of the Eldritch Woods. Something that the people in this town cannot see. Something that can rob people of their time and memories. It is the very thing that connects all of what you have heard tonight. 'Tis a secret of monumental proportions.
And let me guess. Danganronpa? There's a secret that cannot be revealed by the mistress of the Eldritch Woods. Is that right?
Yes. An excellent deduction, Defender.
Witches' souls wander astray within the Eldritch Woods. Until tonight I thought this nothing but a fairy tale told the truth. But it has become clear that a seemingly large organization lies within that forest.
The Witch's Court is the border between this world and the other.
Then that means in this world you're Labyrinth's High Inquisitor while also being mistress to the Shades in the other world, otherwise known as the Great Witch. May I intervene for just a moment, Mr. Wright? Sure. In all honesty, there is still something that sticks out as a little odd, particularly in Miss Ducklaw's previous testimony. Did you say the previous testimony? Oh, I pushed that out on.
There was one vital truth that we managed to take away from that testimony.
You mean that magic does not truly exist in Labyrinthia? Indeed, quite the vital, albeit shocking truth.
However, there is one more truth hidden within that same testimony.
There's something else in that testimony? I must check the court record more times than I can count, but I can't find a single other contradiction.
Have you forgotten already?
Mr. Wright. When there is no evidence left, we have but one more weapon at our disposal with which to uncover the truth.
Oh, hey, I got it, Nick. Remember in a witch trial, you can cross-examine two witnesses at the same time?
Hey, that's right, I completely forgot! Being able to have a look at two testimonies side by side is bound to turn up a contradiction somewhere. And that contradiction should provide us with a much-needed clue. I'm not entirely sure where the professor's going with this, but I believe in his judgment. Besides, we're going to blow this case wide open. It's got to be worth a shot. Very well, we will now take a closer look at Lady Darklaw's previous testimony. This is it, Miss Darklaw's previous testimony. There's a glaring contradiction between this piece of testimony and the other. Ready yourself, Mr. Wright. I question this right here. Lady Darklaw was our venerable mistress. She assigned our task. She was a great witch.
Objection!
Had to get that one. Your Honor, there obviously a huge discrepancy between the two pieces of testimony. Miss Darklaw stated as she is known as the Great Witch. However, according to Miss Kira's testimony, Miss Darklaw was her venerable mistress, the Great Witch. That is correct. She was the Great Witch. Note Miss Kira's use of the past tense. Past tense. I am afraid my grammar is not quite what it used to be. May I ask what you mean? It's simple, Miss. It's simple. Miss Darklaw was mistress to the Shades, or as they call her, the Great Witch. Therefore, she is no longer the Great Witch. She is not the Great Witch. Witness, is this true? It is as you have heard. I relinquish my position as Great Witch in order to fulfill the objective of this task. What would that objective be again? That would be the assassination of the storyteller. Witness! At the beginning of this trial, you stated that you came to this town in order to complete your task, didn't you? What's more, you said that you were going to summon the fire dragon to do it. Now, this task, it wasn't Miss Darklaw here that gave it to you, was it?
No, it wasn't.
So then, the most pressing question is, who was it that gave you that task? Who told you to come to Labyrinthia and assassinate the storyteller? Alright, so Darklaw isn't a Great Witch anymore. Which must mean the mastermind behind this entire thing is... It seems the defense has worked out as well. Mr. Wright, you know who really gave Miss Kira her task tonight, did you not? Do you not? Defender, I ask that you enlighten the court. Show us who really gave this witness her task to assassinate the storyteller. The storyteller himself.
Take that!
The storyteller? We're
talking about someone with the authority and power to replace the Great Witch. Someone who calls the shots. I can't think of anyone else that meets those criteria except for the storyteller himself. Preposterous! Then that would mean... Exactly, Anna. It means that the storyteller gave this final task to Kira himself. He was, in short, responsible for his own assassination. What?! Order in the court! But for what purpose? Why would he plan his own assassination? That I cannot say, Your Honor. However, the final chapter of the story does tell of his inevitable death. While he signed this task to Kira himself, it is perfectly natural that he would do so. However, what is not natural is your behavior tonight, Mr. Cole. What was unnatural about the High Inquisitor's behavior? You were once the head of all shades, yet tonight you tried to interfere with the storyteller's plan. You rendered Miss Kira unconscious and locked her away in the belfry of the bell tower. That, to me, sounds like the activity of someone aiming to put a stop to his plan altogether. Indeed, Lady Doctor, what would the reason be for such behavior? I leave that to you, Mr. Wright. Based on what we've seen in this trial, the defense believes Miss Darkwell's reason for covering up her actions tonight can only be attributed to one thing. This plan was handed down by the storyteller himself. And Miss Darkwell was definitely aiming to put a wrench in it. She tried to betray the storyteller. There's only one possible reason I can think of as to why Miss Darkwell had to hide her actions tonight. She was aiming to betray the storyteller. Betray the storyteller? I agree, Mr. Wright. The storyteller used the Great Witch Mazella to take his own life. Instructions to carry out the plan were given to Miss Kira. However, Miss Darkwell planned to intervene and change the scenario at the very last minute. She planned to do so by changing the identity of the Great Witch from Miss Kira to Miss Cantabella, thus bringing us to our current situation. Miss Cantabella on trial for the murder of her father at the hands of Bezella. You, Miss Darkwell, seem to harbor a rather strong hatred for the storyteller, if I am not mistaken. I just do not like Tomino. A hatred, you say? Yes, I suppose you could call it that. That's right. Behold, my revenge. Did you say revenge? Miss Darkwell, will you please tell the court of your plan for revenge? If you insist. The High Inquisitor and also the Great Witch. Long have I donned those two masks. One as Labyrinthia's protector, the other its harbinger of destruction. In other words, I was merely meant to serve him. And yet, he sought to selfishly pen the ending of the story under his own terms. He did not care enough about me, or any of the townspeople, to allow us the dignity of deciding our own fate. Oh, he was being an asshole then. Indeed, what we witnessed tonight was the cowardly act of a man looking for an easy way to end that which he could not properly
finish. He cared for no one but himself, hence this sudden sham of an ending. And for that, I will never forgive him. What do you mean by sham of an ending? The Great Witch Bezella is to summon a dragon of fire and end the life of the creator. She will then be put on trial and judged, thus heralding a period of peace and prosperity for all Labyrinthia. Such is the ending written for this town and its people. 'Tis an ending I oppose in principle, but who would not wish a happy ending for their own people? However, the problem lies in Bezella's identity. Bezella's identity? As you know, he
Assigned the role of the Great Witch to this girl beside me.
But you're saying that was a falsehood. Is that correct? I knew Bezella's true identity. It is not something I could ever forget. That is why I went to the Bear Tower. And it is why I took the accused there. I did it to ensure the true witch, foretold in the story, which was given judgment she was due.
A true witch? You don't mean...
Yes, I speak of none other than Espella Cantabella.
Objection!
Miss Darklaw, there's a glaring contradiction in your statement. And what would that be? It's supposedly common knowledge that Bezella is capable of using all magic. However, that's far from the truth. Magic does not actually exist in this town. It was all one giant illusion created by the Shades. Therefore, the Great Witch Bezella cannot exist either. You fool! Defender. You really don't have a clue, do you?
But wait just a minute now. Is the defender not correct? If magic does not exist, then it goes without saying that witches do not exist either. And that would include the Great Witch, would it not?
That's right.
They've been lying to us this whole time.
Bastards!
Bezella, is it real?
Objection!
Mr. Wright, there is a fundamental mistake in your argument. What do you mean? I have but one simple question. What exactly is Bezella? Huh? Well, she is supposed to be the head of all witches. Allow me to reword the question. The Great Witch Bezella is the root of all disaster within Labyrinthia. Knowing that, what specific disaster might she have been the root of? That would be,
I just thought of something. We've been hearing Bezella's name left and right since we got here, but not once has the real Bezella shown up in person.
Indeed, Miss Wright. Bezella herself has been virtually absent from the story thus far.
But Inquisitor, did she not claim the life of the storyteller tonight?
It would appear so, Your Honor. However, there is just one more thing.
Considering this, which particular story is every citizen of Labyrinthia most familiar with? Well, that would have to be the legendary fire, right? Precisely. Sir, you're not serious, as the name implies that is but a mere legend. No one knows for certain if it occurred. So they say, but the reality is there are still traces of that terrible fire within the town today.
The professor's right. Maybe we see something up close and personal.
Hey, yeah, the Great Archive? You are indeed correct, Inquisitor. Littered throughout the town are burnt remnants of a fire most years. However, no one can say for certain what transpired back then. See, nothing so what actually happened?
Let me see if I have this straight. There's an entire town full of people and no one saw what happened.
Correct. Except for one particular person.
What?
There's one person who saw everything. I am speaking, of course, of the one responsible for the fire itself, the Great Witch Bezella. Yes. I remember it. All of it. Espella, what are you saying? When I close my eyes, I can picture it so vividly. The awful sight of the flames engulfing everything they touch. A scorching heat on my skin, the smell of burning cinder all around. The large plumes of black smoke, the wild tears streaming down my face. I remember it. What you are recalling now is the moment the Great Witch Bezella destroyed our town. Well, it appears my role here is finished. As for the rest, I leave it in your capable hands, Inquisitor. Huh? Dark Lodge just vanished into thin air? She's right. These memories are proof that I am Bezella.
But it's Bella.
Mr. Wright. Remember, if you will, what I said at the beginning of this trial. I came here to prove that Spella Cantabella is, in reality, the Great Witch Bezella. Right. There is still one more thing I wish to present to the court. I would now like to call the final witness to stand. The final witness.
Hold it!
It would appear he has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I give you this trial's final witness, the storyteller. Just like that, he appeared. The man who died not hours before. And the victim of this very trial. The storyteller himself. The professor sure chose one hell of a final witness. Morning is drawing closer and closer. How this trial will end is anyone's guess. And that will end this session. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a save. Consider this done. And next time, for the final session, the epilogue, the first story. I'm pretty sure we all don't know what to say right here. But I can tell you one thing. I think this constitutes a time to actually stop for the moment, and the next session will be the final session of this Let's Play known as Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. Join us when we conclude everything with the first story, the epilogue of the game. Stay tuned for the finale.